Boker Tov. So we started the Mishnayot of Pesachim Perek Daled, because we said we already did Perek Aleph, Bet, Gimel, and Yud. So Perek Daled Mishnah Aleph, we spoke about on Purim that working on Erev Pesach, so that's based on Minhag. And if you're in a place that works on Erev Pesach, you can work on Erev Pesach. If you live in a place that doesn't work on Erev Pesach, they don't work on Erev Pesach. Before Chatzot. After Chatzot, it's all not allowed. And if you're in this type of place and you go to another place that doesn't work on Erev Pesach, you have to take the stringencies. You have to take the stringencies of both. So this next Mishnah and the Mishnah after, we're going to just do one today, talks about other situations where you take stringencies of other places. So here's an interesting halacha that we're not maybe so familiar with because there's no Shmitta here in Chutz La'aretz, but there's a halacha that goes as follows. In the beginning Parashat Bahar, which talks about the laws of Shmitta, it says like this: "Ve'ayta Shabbat ha'aretz lachem le'ochla." The land has to be fallow for you to eat from. Lecha ulavdecha v'lamatecha. We don't work the land for you, for your servants, for your lady maid servants. For your workers, those that live with you. And so too for the animals that you have and the animals of the land. All of your land has to be open. Even for animals to come, everybody to come, your land has to be open. So the things as follows. Let's say a person has a land on Shmitta. Can I eat from my land on Shmitta? Things grew naturally. I didn't plant it. The trees started producing now fruit. Or I planted right before Shmitta, and now things grew. I have to open my land to anyone that wants to come. Can I eat from it there as well? Yes, I can. Anybody could go in, including the owner. Can a person take some? Does he have to, every time he's hungry, go to the field and eat from there? Or can he take some home and keep some in his closet, store some? So the answer is yes, but there's a big condition, there's a big but. Meaning, one would say, I could circumvent the entire Shmitta by taking everything and storing it in my storehouses. I'll have enough food to last me the whole Shmitta year. I'll get things, corn and wheat and this stuff that could last, for a while, and I'll be able to ride out the entire Shmitta. No. So there's a limit to how much you could store. What's that limit? So the pasuk says your land has to be available for everyone to come and eat from, including the animals. Which means, if let's say it's wheat, if I take and I store in my house, now there's no wheat left for even animals to find, then that has to be available, and I can't store this wheat no longer. It has to be available even for the animals. So that means if I stored, let's say, wheat, and now there's no more wheat in the field, not even for animals, then I can't store now. As long as there's wheat on the field, even for animals, and for sure even for people to come, then I could store. But once there's nothing left of that product, that vegetable or that fruit, whatever it is, then I have to levayer, I have to burn it. It's gone. So now getting to our Mishnah. Let's say, says the Mishnah, kayotzebo, hamolich perot shvi'it mimakom shekalu lemakom shelo chalu. Let's say different cities had different, climates a little bit. So let's say in my city, cucumbers, let's say, was finished. There's no more cucumbers in the field. That means anyone that's storing cucumbers on Shmitta has to get rid of the cucumbers. But in the next city, in Montreal, let's say, so let's say in Yerushalayim and in Haifa, right? In Haifa, there's still cucumbers in the fields. That means people could still store cucumbers. So what if I go and I have some pickled pickles, and I take it with me from Yerushalayim to Haifa. In my city in Yerushalayim, I can't store them anymore. In Haifa, I can still store them because there's still cucumber fields here, and people are still having cucumbers and picking cucumbers. So, says the Mishnah, you have to take the stringency of both places, the stringency of where you are, and you have to get rid of your cucumbers. In that case. So again, kayotzebo hamolich perot shvit mimakom shekalu lemakom shelo chalu, or mimakom shelo chalu lemakom shekalu, chayav levaer. You have to get rid of it. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Omrim lo se ve'avelach afata. Rabbi Yehuda says an interesting line. Go and find it yourself. You say, well, maybe there's some cucumbers. We know that everybody says, oh, there's no more. Maybe there is some. We say, well, yeah, you go and find. Meaning a little bit more stricter. And the Mefarshim explain the following case, and with this we're going to end. Let's say a person has in this pickle jar, because he's storing, let's just say, a cucumber, an onion, and a tomato. Things that, let's say, you could pickle. Okay, so now, let's say what's not in the field is cucumbers. Meaning, there's still tomatoes and there's still onions in the field. You're allowed to store that. But cucumbers, there's no more in the field. So the Chachamim say that because it's all mixed together in this pickle jar, it's looked at as all one thing. And even though a part of it is not in the field anymore, you have to get rid of it, because two-thirds are still in the field, you're allowed to store the entire thing. Whereas Rabbi Yehuda says, go and find one in the field. If you find one in the field, then you could keep it. If you can't find one in the field, you can't keep it. Each one's looked at its own separate thing. And therefore, if there's no more cucumbers in the field, you can't store cucumbers on Shmitta. And therefore, get rid of the ones that are in your pickle jar. The other two things, the tomato and the onion, they're still in the field, yalla, you can still store them. So he looks at each one separately, and actually the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda, which makes sense, that each item is different. Whereas Chachamim look at it like if they're all together, pickled together, so to speak, each one gets the taste of each other, they're all like a one item. But Rabbi Yehuda says, no, each one is its own separate item. Zrat Hashem, we be zocheh to go back there to sell very, very soon, and we'll have the laws of Shmitta, and these laws will be on our fingertips. Bezrat Hashem. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Chananya ben Akashya omer להצע הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך חיבה להם תורה מצווה שנאמר אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר